Right out of college, I worked for the Air Force at the Pentagon for 7.5 years, doing nuclear weapons related stuff, which was really cool.
Some people go like, oh, that's really cool, I need to build that. And then
Yeah.
you're like, that's really cool. Somebody is already an expert at this and can fast track me getting access to it. And
Yes.
I'm gonna take the easy route and just partner with them.
Don't be greedy with any partnership. It needs to kind of be a two-way street.
And it's super true. Just like try to help other people the way
Yeah.
that you would want to be helped. Try to give more than you take.
You want a dialer and a texter? Well, we actually already built it out, spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of capital investing in it for you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Partner and Profit podcast. I'm here today with Mr. Andrew Becker. Andrew, what's up, man? Thanks for being on.
What's up, dude? Good to see you again, Grant.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Very, very, very good to see you. Would love to dive straight into it, man. For people that don't know you, give us a little bit of the background. How did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, okay. I'll start right out of college. I worked for the Air Force at the Pentagon for 7.5 years.
That's cool.
Doing nuclear weapons related stuff, which was really cool.
I can't tell if you're like being serious or joking. Part of me wants to be like, oh,
no, I'm dead serious.
No, that's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah. Started as an intern, worked my way up, and then I got into real estate, and I left that career, and I started a new real estate.
To real estate. Like, what's the bridge there?
Well, I'm OCD, and in nuclear weapons related stuff in the Air Force, you follow checklists and processes and policies. So that worked quite well because we did the same thing the same way over and over. Predictable, repeatable is really kind of boring but necessary. And then I transferred that into my real estate career in 2013. So Air Force from like 09 to 15. I had 2 years overlapping, but I did started a real estate team with my best friend from middle school in 13. We got into and started doing retail. So helping people buy, listing their homes. Then we got into wholesale, built a pretty sizable team and, a lot of volume and a lot of transaction. But from my time as the COO or the operations person running that team in the DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia, I subsequently, Grant, spun off 3 or 4 different real estate related companies. Just real quick. Billions is a team operating platform built on top of Salesforce, kind of pre-built, done for you with all the nuances that a team leader would need to run a team. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to go out and figure it out on your own. We have a Google Ads PPC pay-per-click company, a marketing agency called Brighter PPC. We help investor wholesalers across the country find motivated seller leads and deliver it to their inbox. And then most recently, Grant, and I think how you and I originally connected, being in the Coaching Inc. family mastermind community, I started a Probate Engineers course where I teach people from my own experience of having probates as a very amazing and one of our top lead gen sources over the last 7 or 8 years. I teach people how to become experts in probate and the specialists in probate because it's a very lucrative kind of untapped lead gen source that a lot of people are afraid of, quite frankly. But I teach that in about a 4 to 6 week course, so people can have that lead gen engine turned on for them.
That's really, really cool. I'm still way more fascinated by the nuclear thing, but that's...
What do you want to know? I can tell you.
When you said that, I was like, oh, that's so much cooler than probably what we're going to talk about. No, I'm just kidding.
It was cool. But I'm happy to talk about wherever you want to go with this, man.
So are you still in the DMV area?
Yeah, I live in Alexandria.
Okay.
The Pentagon is like half a mile from my house. So I'm still right involved with all the DC stuff.
I'm always fascinated by politics, the military, all the stuff that goes on.
Right before we hopped on, F-22s flew over my house, so it was loud. And it happens a lot. Cool. Military helicopters. The vice president, before he moved to Observatory Circle in DC, lived in my neighborhood, so his escort would always come by and stop traffic. So we're used to it.
That's wild. I have some great friends. Maybe you know them. Carrie Scholl's a great friend.
Yeah, I know of her. I'm not friends, but she's in Arlington. Her office was in Roslyn. Ours was in Courthouse.
Yeah. I've been to her office numerous times. Spoken at events there. Rob Chavez, which I'm sure you probably
Yeah, he was on my podcast. I'm
was.
very familiar with Rob. Yeah, he was like one of the first 5 people that I had on my podcast.
That's awesome. Rob's the
Yeah,
man. I love him to death. That dude
he's got
is,
the whole grid investor network thing going on. Pretty
yeah,
cool.
dude. He is really cool. And then I worked with a couple of other people in the DMV that are just crushing it right now. I love that area is really cool.
A lot
But
going on, definitely.
oh my gosh, yeah, I can imagine even more so like today than in years past. It's
Yes.
probably insane.
Yeah.
But okay, so talking through this Partner and Profit podcast, obviously, I'm curious, how have you guys used in all of your ventures, and I'm sure this has come up, how have you guys used partnerships in any capacity to
Yeah.
profit? How have you guys used that to grow anything that you guys have done?
Yeah, I think there's like 2 categories here, Grant. So since I am, I guess, a service provider with these different companies that I'm running, 2 categories. Number one, software and tools that we have integrated into, say, Billions, or for the Brighter stuff, even the Probate Engineers course, and then customers or partners of ours who are using them as better known as like what the affiliate model, right? So
Yeah.
they're going out saying, "Hey, I use this service. Here's the website," and it tags them, and then they get credit for it and make money. But the former, we'll talk about the Billions way that we use it. So Billions is built on top of Salesforce natively as best we could, build all the features right into Salesforce using Salesforce only, right? But through 10, 11 years of being a team leader myself, and being on Mojo, being on Dialpad, being
All
on
the
all these
systems,
different
yeah.
things, like there are ones that I enjoy using better than the others, right? They all do kind of the same thing. Just I guess I'm talking about dialers right now,
Yeah.
but I I've been on them. I've tried to optimize them and then hit some sort of a ceiling and where it didn't quite work out the way I thought. But now I'm biased when I say this, Grant, but what's inside of Billions that we didn't do natively is the dialer texter through Dialpad. Actually, we partnered with them. They're ingrained in our system. We partnered with DocuSign. So, and we partnered with Lob for direct mail. Obviously, DocuSign's for e-signature.
Yeah.
So the way we partner there is we spent a lot of time using them for our own companies. But then when we started building our own product to ultimately commercialize for other people to use, I also spent a lot of time going back through them saying, hey, what is going to be the best use case scenario for what we are trying to accomplish for the team model, right? Because we're very team centric. We don't really do solo or individual agents. So we reached out to them and said, hey, we have this product. Like, how can we make this happen together? And our developer teams got together and integrated it. And basically what we did, Grant, is we have this kind of like done for you franchise model of a team operating system that makes up Billions. So it comes with all this stuff. You don't have to use it, but if you don't want to have to go out and do that in integrating a research and development type of thing, finding the developer, finding the product, you don't have to, because we can say, hey, Grant, you're coming on to Billions. You want a dialer and a texter? Well, we actually already built it out, spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of capital investing in it for you to take advantage of. The cool thing, Grant, is there, and obviously we have like rev share kind of things with these partners as well, if we're being perfectly open and transparent here. But there's an advantage there because the customer, maybe you don't want Dialpad to call and text on day one when you have our Billions platform, but and you're like, oh, we're just going to use cell phones, right? We've always done that. But then you need to get a little bit more optimized and strategic about the way you are overseeing your team, and you're like, man, I think we do need Dialpad. You tell us, and then within 12 to 24 hours, depending on our support ticket queue, this dialer thing just pops up. You get trained on it. We set it up for you, and you don't have to go out and figure it out on your own. It just magically appears. And the cool part about Salesforce is we can hide the things that you don't want at the get-go, at the start, and then you can say, hey, I'll give you another example. We do retail listings and buyers, and we do wholesale right inside of Billions with its different stages, its different fields, monies, people, whatever. But if you, Grant, aren't a wholesaler, we hide that part. It just doesn't show up. But 6 months later, you say, hey, Andrew, I'm getting into wholesale. How can I do this? magically a wholesale button pops
Yeah.
up and you follow the wholesale track, and it's a little bit different, but it's done for you, built out the way that you want it. So that's kind of how we do the same thing with DocuSign. A lot of people don't want it right away, but the cool thing about the DocuSign integration and all these integrations is you don't leave billions to do it. So we have what's called an iframe, or an embedded DocuSign integration that we have. So when you want to send me a contract to sign, you click on send for e-signature and DocuSign pops up as if you're in DocuSign, but you're inside of billions. So it's just like a frame on top of it. So that's how we partner with these service providers, other software tools for the billions part.
So it sounds like it's infrastructure, right? Like you're partnering with these companies to help create infrastructure for you and for all of the people that you support.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the truth of the matter is, Grant, I could go out and build our own native dialer on Twilio, right? But it's going to cost a lot of money. It's another infrastructure that we have to figure out, maintain. If it goes down, it's on us, that kind of thing. But for almost the same reason we landed with Salesforce, this 200-300 billion dollar company, give or take whatever the market's doing, 99.99% uptime. So we are also taking advantage of that partnership branding and their tools and technology that they have. So it's just a win-win, because I don't want to become, maybe in the future, but right now I don't want to become like a dialer company of my own.
I think it's something that everybody can kind of relate to. It's like everybody really needs something. Like you're kind of borrowing somebody else's infrastructure to build your own business. But I think a lot of people are doing that. Like a lot of people in real estate, especially, you're relying on somebody else to be really good at what it is that they do so that you can run your business. And those types of partnerships are invaluable because it kind of opens the doors for you to be able to do whatever it is that you are the best
at. And it expedites whatever that 100%. Is that you're trying to do.
Some people go like, oh, that's really cool, I need to build that. And then you're like, that's really cool, somebody is already an expert at this and can fast track me getting access to it. And I'm gonna take the easy route and just partner with them. Yeah.
We did the framework, obviously, the structure, the framework inside of billions that other platforms are on kind of limit. But then the big pieces, the big moving rocks that we'll call them, the feature sets like direct mail, e-signature, dialer, etc. Yeah, that's where we said, do we want to do this on our own, or do we just want to partner with the best of the best? And that's what we chose to do.
100%. So much easier.
Yeah.
We are like, I could say for the same thing. Like there's a lot of stuff that we build internally, but there's so much stuff too that we just partner with other people.
Yeah.
That are already really good at it. Not that everybody sees that.
Right.
Sometimes our integrated partners are behind the scenes, but anyways, how are you guys using partnerships? I get how you're using it to create infrastructure and support the growth of the business. How are you using it to grow the business? Like you talked about how you have kind of like an affiliate framework. So how do you guys use partnerships to grow what you're doing?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. So co-marketing efforts, audience sharing. I'll give you another example. We partnered with an amazing data company. I'm actually friends with the founders, that provide lists and skip tracing and a whole bunch of really cool stuff like data enrichment, property details enrichment. They have a lot of customers that happen to be in real estate. So what we do with them is we'll do a combined campaign that says, hey, for example, you want to learn about probates? Like, come here. Andrew's going to be teaching his probate engineers kind of high level overview, and we get to borrow their audience, which is like a couple thousand people. Now, obviously not all of them show up, but that's just a co-marketing effort to say, hey, I really like this data company. It's called Prime Tracers, by the way. And we're in the middle of building out the integration so you can do a whole bunch of stuff right inside of billions as well. But that's a fantastic example of mutual brand acknowledgement and trust to say, hey, you're already on Prime Tracers, for example. Well, we know this friend, colleague, trusted partner of ours. Come learn from him, and then we'll do like a webinar or a workshop or something like that.
So you get access really like in both of these scenarios, like you're able to access each other's audiences to grow whatever it is that you may be trying to grow at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's such a tried and true strategy. Like it's one thing if Grant says Grant's cool, but if Andrew says Grant's cool, that's a whole
even
different.
Cooler.
Yeah, he's even cooler.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask, it's kind of a dumb question. I was going to say, why do you think this works so well? I think we all know why it works well. But how do you think, because we're talking about like the pathway to doing something quicker. People listen to this because they want to know how to grow their businesses. They want to know how to use partnerships to grow.
Yeah.
Partnering with other people enables you to grow so much faster. Would you agree? Because
Yeah, I
able
mean,
to
here's the
access
truth.
the
Like,
trust of somebody else's audience.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you're borrowing someone's audience, and just by the way, in case anyone's wondering, like we try to do the same thing, like vice versa.
Yeah.
So they'll come on in front of our audience, and
Mm-hmm.
other people, other partner. Here's another kind of like dolly chain or daisy chain. I'll introduce my partners to other partners, and then they'll go and do something
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So I'm not like kind of trying to gatekeep anything. If I know, like, and trust you, and we start to do a lot of really cool stuff together, and it's fun and it's working, and everyone's, it's a win-win for everyone. I introduce people all the time to people that I meet with another audience, and then another
Mm-hmm.
audience, and then another audience. So
Nice.
that's where I forgot your original question, but um,
It's all good.
yeah.
It was how are we using partnerships to grow the business? And you're talking about
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
audience
Sorry.
hacking. Like, well, this other company has a big audience, and so they'll interview
Right.
me, and then I
So let
have
me
an
go
audience.
back to that question. I'll answer that one. So when we first started out, we didn't have these partnerships. We didn't have a large audience of
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, right? So I was doing one-to-one, kind of like cold outreach, very slow, methodical, but kind of like guerrilla style marketing where I can't just go into a Facebook group with 10,000 people because it didn't exist
Mm-hmm.
at that time. So I went from the one-to-one to the one-to-many. And
Yep.
then there's a one-to-many strategy that's way different as well. This kind of is getting into like a webinar presentation style or workshop style where you've got to show them what they're missing, how you do it, how you
Mm-hmm.
can either, do it on their own, do it with you, or have us do it for you type of thing. But that one-to-many, especially Grant, I don't know if you have this, but you have a community of 20,000 people and they know, like, and trust you because they've all been in your community for 5 years. They listen to you, just
Mm-hmm.
like all the people that own different Facebook groups or Reddit groups, and they're seen as this authoritative figure. That's all we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, take me back because you just said, when I first started and have any of this, I was doing it one to one. When you made that pivot to one to many, like what was the strategy? What was the action plan?
I didn't know at that time. I was kind of just doing stuff. But now my strategy is I'm in a bunch of different masterminds where people have been there before
Yes.
and kind of mastered it. So I am just like you and a lot of people in those masterminds that we're in together, we're trying to model and modify it for how we want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But an example is like a webinar approach where we borrow our partners' audiences and say, hey, special guest Andrew is going to be talking about billions or brighter
Mm-hmm.
or probate engineers, whatever whatever topic it's going to be, this Wednesday at 3 p.m. And then there's a strategic way to go about that with reminders to get people to actually RSVP, then show up, and then what do you do to keep them engaged on the actual webinar itself? Do you do 30 minutes? Do you do 3 hours? We've all seen these crazy things where people go live for like 18 hours. You're like, what the heck are they talking about? And how do they keep so many people on it? I'm not at that advanced stage yet, but we'll do a webinar or workshop that we just, honestly, man, we just like teach whatever it is. And hopefully it brings value to some people with a call to action at the end to meet with me and see if we may or may not be a good fit for each other.
Yeah.
And that comes with repetition, just not doing it once and quitting, but doing it like week after week, quarter after quarter, whatever the cadence might be.
I think that's a very key thing that you said is doing it with repetition, doing it consistently. Because
Yeah.
like it's one thing for us to have a conversation, let's say you have, like you said, 20,000 people. If I get in front of 20,000 people, if I'm there one time and I do a presentation, then I leave,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to develop a relationship with a few people. But if I keep showing up and keep adding value in other people's community and other people's networks, and I do that for a long sustained period of time, you build
Yeah.
a larger and larger and larger relationship with those 20,000 people.
Yeah.
And the adoption rate just continually grows. And then ultimately, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, like that thing grows as well. And then you
Yeah.
take that and you rinse and repeat that strategy with 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, 100 people.
Yeah.
It's a proven winner.
Yeah, it's the same concept of like in real estate to get real estate leads, seller motivated leads or whatever. You don't just mail once and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this didn't really work. Like repetition, recognition, number
Uh-huh.
one. And I think for the stuff that we're all trying to do online these days is just you want to prove to people or show people you're actually doing what you're teaching or preaching or whatever,
Hmm.
or that whatever you're doing out there, right?
Yeah.
And you can't just do one video once and think that's going to work, because there's a million other people doing 20 videos a day.
Hmm.
And you know how the algorithm works, they're going to start seeing that guy, then being like, hey, I need to learn how to co-brand and co-market. I
Yeah.
keep seeing this Grant Wise guy, like, what's happening with him? Like, if they just saw you once, cool. Oh, maybe, but not today. But you
Hmm.
know, you put them in your audience, and I see you all the time, and I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, this makes sense. And then one day I'll click on it, and start to work even more together than we what we're doing now.
100%. Yeah. I was listening to, it was Tom Ferry. He was talking about, if you look at somebody like Fox News, CNN News, do you think that the newscasters would have nearly as much influence if instead of being on the news every single day, they were only on like once a week or
Yeah,
once a month? And the reality is like, no, not even close. They've got to
because you
be
get
there every
comfortable
day.
with like seeing you on
Yeah.
Facebook and
That's how
then
they develop
hearing
that
from you.
parasocial relationship with you,
Yeah,
100%.
exactly.
So,
So, and if
go
you
ahead.
actually showing, my whole goal is to show people that I know PPC probates and systems and technology. And then, so repetition, they start to see me more and they're like, oh man, he's a real person and he's approachable. And then that just makes the ultimate like sale or conversation about whatever service you're
Hmm.
talking to them about easier, because they kind of feel already comfortable with you.
Yeah. I have two more questions. One is, how do you be a good partner to somebody else? I think a lot of people are listening to this. It's like, okay, I'm getting it, but how can I actually be an effective partner for somebody else, whether I am providing infrastructure for them or I'm trying to help them grow their business, or I'm trying to, on the flip side of that, trying to grow my business. And like, what have you seen and experienced? Like, who are the best people that come to mind when you think about that? How do you be a good partner for somebody else?
Yeah, that's another really good question. I think number one is don't be greedy with any partnership. It needs to kind of be a two-way street. The way I look at partnerships, Grant, is whether there's a big affiliate revenue share or a small one or whatever, like most importantly, it's the value that we, meaning like me and my companies and whoever the partner is, provide to the end user. That's first and foremost, because it doesn't matter if that isn't happening. And then the monetary exchange, if there is one, is kind of like a secondary or tertiary thing that happens. So I think that's number one. Number two, I mean, this is kind of obvious, but like, don't go behind their back and do stuff that if they found out about, like they wouldn't appreciate. And then I think just like the audience sharing and doing, like, we're doing a podcast swap, right? Like you're going to be on my podcast right after this podcast. The mutual, like, hey, I want exposure, can I come on yours, vice versa, and just being a nice, fun person. One of the other things that's super important to me
Yeah.
is if one of our partners has, I'm at the stage in my life, Grant, where I want to work and be involved with and friends with colleagues, business partners with people that I enjoy being around. I don't want toxicity in my
Yes.
life or in my business anymore. So honestly, I don't know if that's the question or the answer that you're looking for that question, but those are the most important things to me.
No, I think it is, and you're definitely living in an area where toxicity is
Yeah, just a little
something.
bit. Yeah.
You might be around, but no. I think that you what you said is really simple, and it's super true. Just like try to help other people the way that
Yeah.
you would want to be helped. Try to give more than you take, and try to make sure that you know who you want to be around, and then
Yeah.
surround yourself with the
I mean,
type of
it
people you
doesn't
want
even
to.
have to be like a lot. Like the audience swapping and podcast swapping, or revenue swapping is all cool. It could be like, hey, my friend just posted about his whatever. Let me like it or share it, just to do the little
Really
things
easy stuff.
too. And the big part too is also just keeping in touch with these partners, whoever
Hmm.
they are, wherever they are. So I try as best I can, not always doing it every single time, but like with the Prime Tracers guys, we meet every single Wednesday. Even if we, don't have any business stuff to do, we meet and catch up and we stay in each other. I flew to Chicago actually to just meet with them, and we hung out all day
Hmm.
to further that relationship. So just little things like that help you, just like you do with your spouse, or your partner out there. You show them you care and,
I
you
think
keep them in your lives.
I think people can overcomplicate it so much, but like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it actually does not take a lot to develop a relationship, especially in 2020. What is this, 2026?
Yeah.
Because as a society, I think people have become so self-centered in a way where when you do even just like the littlest thing for somebody,
Yeah.
it feels like it just means so much more today than it has in a long time, because it seems like there's not very many people doing it. Like, and what I mean
Yeah.
is like, if I were to call you, like, hey man, how's it going? I don't know how many people I've called this week where I'm just like, hey, what's up? It's like, yeah, hey, what do you need?
Yeah.
Don't need anything, dude. I was just calling to say hey. And it's like, that's
Yeah.
kind of like how society has become. It's like, oh yeah, what do you
And
need?
people forgot about that, but it's
Yeah.
like making a comeback.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on. I think the last question that I wanted to ask is, how can the people listening to us right now, how can they partner with you? Like, what is the number one way that we can help support you and what you're doing? How can we partner with you and help grow your things?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone has any interest in learning more about what I've been talking about and you think there is a way to partner, I always love introductions, Grant. So if you have anyone in mind, just text them with me on it and we'll see where it goes. Part of being a business owner, just like anyone in real estate or coaching or whatever, it's like networking. You never know if an introduction to someone's going to start a relationship or just be a 30-minute call and lead to nothing. But I'm of the mindset of like, if it makes sense, and like, I know we all want to be careful with our time, but if the connection makes sense, it's worth that 15, 20, 30-minute introduction phone call to see what we can do. I mean, that's how I formed all the partnerships that we've had since we started forming partnerships, and it wasn't by chance. It was
Yeah.
it's hard work. Honestly, it's hard work, but one relationship can change a whole lot of things. So I always keep that in mind.
Yeah. Well, to that end, what's the number one way that people could connect with you?
I can provide my cell phone number for the show notes, or I have the same social media name across the board on all the platforms. I am Andrew Becker.
Okay.
So friend me, connect with me, reach out, DM me. My cell phone number, I'll give it to you, Grant, so you can share with everyone too. Text me, call me, any which way. It's okay with me.
That sounds awesome. Well, thanks again, brother. I really appreciate you coming on. Appreciate the value
man.
you dropped, and looking forward to continually partner with you and helping you grow your businesses. And I know you feel the same. So thanks again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
All right. Thanks,
All right,
everybody.
bye.
We'll see you on the next one.